Welcome back, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back, IWC. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, and I tell it like it is. I'll say that to say this. Coming to you live to tape 25 feet below the surface of the earth. Wait a minute. You know, we go through this every time. I'm in quite the pickle. This is quite the dilemma. I'm live right now, but I am taping it at the same time. Well, fuck it. You guys get the idea. Welcome back to Chaos Corner here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans. Hit that like button, subscribe, share, leave a comment, email me, inbox me, do something for crying out loud. With my over 50 years of being a historian, a scout, an agent, a producer, a smark, a mark. That's right, I said it, a mark, and I'm proud to say it. And my over 3 decades as a pro wrestling manager in this damn industry, this business, if you will. And I took the fucking bumps like most of you can't say out there, a la Jim Cornette, Bobby Heenan, Captain Louis Albano, Freddie Blassie, Jimmy Hart. The list goes on and on. I put myself in that category. Yeah, I didn't work for the big companies, but I still did it, and I'm proud of it. And that's why there's 3 types of people in this world. Those who don't know what happened, those who wonder what happened, people like the Guardian of Chaos that make things happen. In order to get respect, you have to start with respecting yourself. Once you do that, you open other people's minds to respecting you. Now, we haven't been here for today, this date in pro wrestling history in a couple of weeks. So I'm back with some priceless, historic, classic information in the world of pro wrestling history for today, January 12th, 2024. Who knew? We're going to jump off Twitter, aka X, Instagram, Facebook, Gitter, Gab, Truth Social, Rumble. Meet me back here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. Don't you dare miss it. All right, fans, we're off all the other social media platforms. All the chicanery aside, thank you for being here. Much love and respect. I can't thank you guys enough for tuning into the channel. Get us in the algorithm, as I've already stated. I think this could be the first, this date today in pro wrestling history for the new year, 2024. You see, wrapped up in chains, as is my life, as was my career. Let that sink in. Read the Mitt. Go to the community page. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Read the biography of the GOC. And that's me. So let's get right into it. We have an unbelievable, interesting show. As I always say, an extravaganza, a bonanza here at Chaos Corner. Let me get hydrated. I'm a little late today. I tried to do it early this morning. I couldn't get it done between Taekwondo and after-school studies. I'm always up to something, man. I'm busier than a blow-up doll at a frat party. But I'm certainly as confused as a baby at Hooters. Let that sink in. And for all of you jabronis, geeks, neckbeards, you know who I'm talking about. You know, and I know, and you know that you're watching. Sitting there in the background, not saying anything, not subscribing, but I know you're creeping. I have the analytics. Don't you understand? I know when you're on my page. So when this premieres later on, come on in, leave a comment, show yourself. Come on, man. Let me get hydrated, please. Nothing like water with lemon. You gotta love it. To all my brothers over there on the island, Pehe Awoi, Melihini Kane, Pupule, Wiki Wiki, Mahalo, and Aloha at the same time. For everybody down on the other islands. No me jodo maricon, muévete, culo pendejo. No offense, man, they nada, man. Kayfabe, man. That's why you guys are here, for the entertainment. No paywall, no Patreon, no super chats, no Zen, PayPal, Venmo, any of that. But you can leave me a tip or buy me a cup of coffee and say thank you. So I appreciate that. Listen, we are coming up on those 500,000 total views. We are on the precipice of 1,000 subscribers. The thank you page has been opened. Not necessary, not required, but I appreciate it, and I thank you guys. Let's get into brass tacks. Class is in session. I don't mind the tropical thunderstorm sounds in the background. You'll get used to it. Take your notes, get your pads out. Here we go. Today, this date in pro wrestling history, January 12th in the year 2024. January 12th, 1938. George P. defeats Billy Spendlove for the Montana State middleweight title in Great Falls, Montana. January 12th, 1939. The Great Mephisto defeats Billy Widener to win the Midwest Wrestling Association World Light Heavyweight title in Columbus, Ohio. Fast forward in the time machine. January 12th, 1951. Mars Bennett defeats Nell Stewart for the NWA Texas Women's title in Houston, Texas. How about that? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Don't put the chains too tight around. These are heavy. You know that, right? I get the traps a workout. Next strong, right here at Chaos Corner. Back into the time machine. January 12th, 1953. Yvonne Robert and Whipper Billy Watson defeat Al and Tiny Mills to win the NWA Canadian Open Tag Team titles in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. January 12th, 1954. Today, B. Brian Blair is born in Gary, Indiana. Today, Brian Blair turns 67, president of the Cauliflower Alley Club. That's right, Brian Blair, 67 years old, from the Killer Bees of all places with Jumpin' Jim Brunzell. A buzz buzz. A buzz buzz. I said a buzz buzz. Dating myself back to the old SNL skit with John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. The Bees, the Killer Bees. A buzz buzz. Too much? Move past this chaos? Oh, okay, I got it. Happy birthday, B. Brian Blair. January 12th, 1958. The Corsicans. That's right, the Corsicans, not to be confused with the movie, The Corsican Brothers. Gene and Joe defeat Yvonne Robert and Billy Wicks in Memphis, Tennessee to win the Mid-American NWA World Tag Team titles, beginning the Corsicans' fourth reign. Fast forward, January 12th, 1959. The Fabulous Kangaroos of Al Costello and Roy Heffernan defeat Juan Garcia and Miguel Lopez. Miguel Lopez, a.k.a. who? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? Anyone? Miguel Lopez, a.k.a. Mike DiBiase. Let that sink in. For the Rocky Mountain Tag Team titles in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's right, Miguel Lopez, a.k.a. Mike DiBiase. We move on here on Chaos Corner for this date in pro wrestling history. January 12th, 1959. Jesse James defeats the aforementioned Yvonne Robert in Birmingham, Alabama to win the NWA Southern Junior Heavyweight title. Also, let's stay in 1959, January 12th. Frenchie Champagne defeats Bobby Jones in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada to become the first Madison Wrestling Club heavyweight champion. How about that for useless tidbits and facts of information? I know it's getting a little heavy around the neck. I got to pull it down a little bit. Guys, bear with me here. I haven't been here for doing today at this date in pro wrestling history. I think it's the first one in 2024. I did do 2 episodes last week of Story Time with the GOC. That's coming back in full force here in 2024. We will be doing Story Time on a regular basis along with Today in Pro Wrestling History. So stay tuned. Over 2,500 videos here on the channel. From my career to everyone I've worked with, to all the events I've been on, to classic historical footage, pay-per-view watch-alongs, live-to-tape watch-alongs, book reviews, historical rundowns. That's what you get here on Chaos Corner. Nobody else is doing this concept of live-to-tape for what I do here in the podcast, which I call this a TV show, a reality show, an episodic YouTube channel. I already had 2 cups of coffee. Bear with me, will you please? January 12th, 1962, the late great Luna Vachon is born in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Now we know that Luna passed in 2010 at the age of only 48 years old. She was truly ahead of her time, Luna Vachon. Rest in peace and happy birthday on the same day, Luna. January 12th, 1968. Bobo Brazil defeats Buddy Austin for the World Wrestling Association heavyweight title in Los Angeles, California. Bobo would be the last to hold the title because on October 1st, the WWA joined the NWA and became NWA Hollywood Wrestling. How about that for historical information? Recognizing the NWA World Champion Gene Kiniski. Now, Kiniski and Brazil fought to a draw for the undisputed NWA World title on December 18th of that year, 1968, in Los Angeles. Let's stay in 1968, January 12th. Bobby and Lee Fields defeat Frank and Jack Dalton for the NWA Gulf Coast Tag Team titles in Dothan, Alabama. Fast forward here on Chaos Corner. January 12th, 1971, Bob Armstrong and El Mongol defeat the Assassins of Jody Hamilton and Tom Renesto to win the NWA Macon, Georgia tag team titles in Macon, Georgia. Doesn't that make sense? I can't thank you guys enough for being here. This is back to my motivation, my love, my passion, a much needed distraction in this insane world of 2024. Wars all over this world, and now we're even involved over there. Even more so, the invasion of our country here in the United States of America, the economy, all the insanity of both sides of the aisle with all the asinine politics. Can you even trust the government? I don't think so. They're trying to distract us, false flags, the whole 9 yards. You stay in faith, not fear, because if he is for us, no one else can be against us, and we'll be okay. Shout out to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Because Jesus is coming back soon. Don't be caught dead without him. And that's a shoot. You guys know that if you follow this channel, where I stand. All right, fans, back into the time machine. Here we go. January 12th, let's stay in 1971. Ripper Collins and Mad Dog Maine defeat Ed Francis and Johnny Barend and Billy Robinson, so I don't know how that happened, for the NWA Hawaii Tag Team titles in Honolulu, Hawaii. January 12th, 1973. Abdullah the Butcher wins his 6th Stampede North American heavyweight title, ending the 3rd reign of Jeff Ports in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Am I too close to the camera? It gets a little wonky with the new camera system here. I get it. The camera puts an extra 10 pounds on you, they say. Well, it looks like it might have put 20 on me. I get it. I scare the rats off cheesecake. I make onions cry. I understand that. Bear with me. January 12th, 1974, the interns of Tom Andrews and Jimmy Starr defeat Bearcat Brown and Don Green to win the NWA Mid-Atlantic America Tag Team titles in Chattanooga, Tennessee, beginning the 5th reign for the interns. How about that? January 12th, 1976, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Here's the lineup. Dominic DeNucci defeats Bugsy McGraw by disqualification. The Polish Power Ivan Putski defeats Crusher Jerry Blackwell. Kevin Sullivan and Frank Monty fight to a 20-minute time limit draw. You don't see that often in 2024. Baron Mikel Cicluna from the Isle of Malta defeats Francisco Flores. Irish Pat Barrett and Pete Sanchez fight to a 20-minute draw. Worldwide Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions Tony Parise and Luis Cerdan Abafangule Mamara defeat Spiros Arion and Ivan Koloff, the Russian Bear. The Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, defeats Gorilla Monsoon by ref stoppage for excessive bleeding by Monsoon. You don't see that in 2024 as well. Like they talk about the whole Strickland Hangman Page and AEW bout last month or 2 months ago, whenever it was. Ref stoppage due to bloodletting. Hello, McFly, is anybody home? Also, on that card, superstar Billy Graham defeats Worldwide Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight Champion Bruno Sammartino, the living legend, by countout. We fast forward here on this date today in pro wrestling history for January 12th, 1976. Dean Higuchi, konnichiwa bitches, arigato from Chaos-san, and George Wells defeat Dale Lewis and Siegfried Stenke for the Vancouver NWA Canadian Tag Team titles in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. January 12th, 1979. Tully Blanchard wins his third Southwest Championship Wrestling TV title, defeating Dale Valentine, a.k.a. who? Dale Valentine? Anyone? Bueller? This never gets old. Bueller? Anyone? Dale Valentine, a.k.a. Buddy Jack Roberts from the Fabulous Freebirds. Bad Street, Atlanta, GA. Bad Street in the whole USA. Bad Street and nasty and hot. The further down the street, the worse it got. The further down the block, the worse it got. No? All right, listen. I get it. I'm not the singing wrestler over on TikTok. That's right. Everybody is well aware of the singing wrestler, a.k.a. Mario Mancini, over on TikTok. Go check him out. He's pretty damn good for what he does, but he's got nothing on the GOC. You listening, Mancini? The singing wrestler on TikTok. I'll give you your props. You know Michael Bolton. You know Michael McDonald. But you are the singing wrestler. How about that? Let that marinate. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. The owner at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling in the WWF from 84 to 92. Mancini. Go check him out on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, okay? But the singing wrestler is. The thing about Tully Blanchard winning that third Southwest Championship TV title against Dale Valentine, Buddy Roberts, in Austin, Texas, the two grapplers and the title switched 3 times in 3 days previous to Blanchard winning it back. How about that? Let's stay on January 12th, 1979. Twin Devil #1 defeats Chavo Guerrero to win the NWA America's Heavyweight title in Los Angeles, California, beginning the Twin Devil #1's second reign and ending Guerrero's 13th reign. Fast forward, January 12th, 1980. Kevin Von Erich defeats Ox Baker for the world-class American Heavyweight title in Dallas, Texas, ending Baker's second reign and beginning Kevin Von Erich's second reign. Now, you guys know the legendary Ox Baker, especially in the Cleveland Riot against Bobo Brazil back in the day. It's on the tube. Go out and check it out. And, of course, Ox Baker in the Kurt Russell cult classic Escape from New York. My old buddy, the late, great Ox Baker, Ox and I used to talk all the time. One heck of a scary guy with that heart punch. One legit badass, but a good man. Rest in peace, Ox Baker. Let's stay on January 12th, 1980. Carlos Colon defeats Abdullah the Butcher to win the held-up WWC Puerto Rican Heavyweight title in Bayamon, Puerto Rico. This began Colon's 5th reign, ending the Butcher's 2nd reign. And the belt was held up and was vacant because they had wrestled the previous week before, fought, and nothing was decided. That's why the belt was vacant coming into this match on January 12th, 1980. January 12th, 1981. Barry Windham defeats Dory Funk Jr. to win the NWA Florida Heavyweight title in West Palm Beach, Florida. Let's go forward to go back. January 12th, 1980. Austin Idol wins his second NWA Georgia TV title in Atlanta, Georgia, defeating Steve Travis. Let's go back. January 12th, 1981. Raul Mata and Billy Whitecloud defeat Raul Castro and Killer Tim Brooks for the world-class Texas Tag Team titles in Fort Worth, Texas. Let's stay in the year 1981, January 12th. Rip Oliver and Playboy Buddy Rose defeat Joe Ventura and Jay Youngblood to win the Vancouver NWA Canadian Tag Team titles in Vancouver, British Columbia. January 12th, 1982. Bruce Hart defeats the Great Gama to win the Stampede British Commonwealth mid-heavyweight title at Regina, Saskatchewan. Fast forward here in the time machine at Chaos Corner. January 12th, 1985. Don Running Bear and Billy Two Eagles defeat Mr. Ebony and Mike Miller to win the NWA Pacific Northwest Tag Team titles in Portland, Oregon. Here's another classic for you, fans. January 12th, 1986. Let me see. What am I at this point? 23, 24 years old? Loved the World Wrestling Federation back in the day. And of course, the NWA was my home as well. World Wrestling Federation at the Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Here's the lineup. King Tonga, a.k.a. Haku, a.k.a. Meng, defeats Tiger Chung Lee. Hercules Hernandez goes over on Scott McGee. Dangerous Danny Spivey defeats Scott McGee. S.D. Jones goes over on Moondog Spot. Wait, hold on, because I fucked up here, and I apologize for cussing, because I know I don't have to. But you know what Bully Ray from Busted Open Radio, Busted Open After Dark, Busted Open 24/7, two-time Hall of Famer, perhaps the greatest tag team, or one of the greatest tag teams of all fucking time, the Dudley Boys? He said to me, personally, back in 05-06, when I was managing the Outcast Killers, Omar Tortuga, Diablo Santiago, going for the NWA World Tag Team titles in a series of tables matches against Team 3, the Dudleys. Bully, Bubba, if you will, took me in the background in the locker room. After I took the what's up from Oh My Brother Testify, the Dudley Boys. He said, give Big Daddy 5 spots and he'll fuck up for him. I consider that to be a compliment coming from someone like Bully Ray. Hall of Famer. One of the greatest. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. As I just fucked up the results there. And again, I apologize for cussing. Hercules Hernandez defeats Scott McGee. And Danny Spivey went over on Les Thornton. As I said, S.D. Jones defeats Moondog Spot. Tony Parisi defeats Ron Shaw. We continue here in a time machine. 1986, January 12th, the World Wrestling Federation at the Maple Leaf Gardens. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat defeats Mr. Fuji in a kung fu match. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Huh. Those kids were fast as lightning. Now it was a little bit frightening. Huh. Ha. Woo. No? Too much? Listen, I'm not the singing wrestler on TikTok, but I get down. I can get down with the karaoke, and with the rap, with the singing, with the rock and roll. I can do it all, man. Also on that card, World Wrestling Federation Canadian Heavyweight Champion Dino Bravo defeats the Macho Man Randy Savage by disqualification. World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions Brutus Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine defeat the British Bulldogs Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid. Andre the Giant goes over on King Kong Bundy. Back into the time machine, January 12th, 1987. Bob Bradley defeats the Dingo Warrior, who went on to be the Ultimate Warrior, for the vacant world-class Texas heavyweight title in Fort Worth, Texas. Let's stay in January 12th, 1987. Wendell Cooley defeats the Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony, for the NWA Alabama heavyweight title in Birmingham, Alabama, ending Anthony's second reign and beginning Cooley's third reign. Stand by, fans, because we're going on to January 12th, 1991 here in the time machine. I gotta stay hydrated. It's later than I thought. We're in the afternoon here. I usually do this early in the morning. So the coffee, the espresso's already kicked in. I had an unbelievable 3-egg omelet this morning with rye toast, unsweetened tea. It was unbelievable. It really was. Just to give you a little background of what I did today. I know, they taught me that in the CSB, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, back in the late 80s. They said, chaos. I was the GOC back then, too. Dead air, we don't want silence. Silencio, no dead air. You learn that in the CSB. But I have to stay hydrated. So you guys on audio think it's dead air, but if you're on video, you know what I'm doing. Listen, you got to watch me on video. The visual impact alone is well worth it. All right, back into the time machine. As I said, we entered January 12th, 1991, the World Wrestling Federation at the historic Boston Garden. Dustin Rhodes pins Playboy Buddy Rose. Haku defeats Coco Beware. Jake the Snake Roberts goes over on Rick Martel by disqualification. The Barbarian pins Saba Simba, a.k.a. Tony Atlas. Kerry Von Erich defeats the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Champion, Mr. Perfect, by disqualification. Now, Rowdy Roddy Piper was the special guest referee for that one. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions, the Hart Foundation of the Hitman and the Anvil, defeat Power and Glory, a.k.a. Hercules Hernandez, and Pretty Paul Roma. Now, you guys know that Roma is the head trainer for my home company here in the shadows of Titan Towers at Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. Roma was a legit, and still is a legit badass. On that night, Bret Hart pinned Roma. Very underrated tag team, Power and Glory. Now remember, Roma, Four Horsemen, not the originals, but was a part of the legendary Four Horsemen. The Young Stallions, Pretty Wonderful with Paul Orndorff. Power and Glory with Hercules. Does it get much better than that? Tag team champion with Arn Anderson. I mean, come on. WrestleMania. Madison Square Garden. Pretty Paul Roma, head trainer, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. We continue in 1991, the WWF at Boston Garden. In the main event, Hulk Hogan and Tugboat defeat Dino Bravo and Earthquake when the Hulkster pinned Bravo. January 12th, 1998, the legendary Monday Night Wars continue with the battle in the ratings. And let these ratings sink in as compared to current day in this industry, when they're barely, AEW can't get 1 million, and WWE is struggles around 1.5 to 2 million. Lucky if they can get to 2.3 million. It's been quite some time. Not to mention all the other groups from Ring of Honor to New Japan to MLW, the NWA, TNA, Impact, whatever the hell you want to call them. None of them even come close. More ratings than all of them combined, just about. On this date, January 12th, 1998, as I said, the Monday Night Wars WCW Nitro came in at a 4.6, while the WWF Raw's War was a 3.4. Think about that and compare it to today's ratings when you want to talk about putting asses in seats. Let's fast forward here in the time machine. January 12th, 2001. ECW held its next to last event before folding in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Michael Shane defeats Oz. The Prodigy goes over on Phoenix. Joey Matthews and Christian York defeat the FBI of Lil Guido and Tony Mamaluke. Venica Manja. Oh, Mamalukes. Jack Victory defeats C.W. Anderson in a street fight. Yoshihiro Tajiri goes over on Super Crazy. The ECW Tag Team Champions, Danny Doring, who was supposed to be with his partner Roadkill, Nova substitutes for Roadkill in this bout, and they go on to defeat Hot Commodity, consisting of Julio De Niro and Easy Money. Thank God Danny Doring picked Nova. because Nova ended up pinning De Niro to retain the ECW tag team titles. Tommy Dreamer pins Just Incredible, ECW heavyweight champion and TV champion at the same time. Rhino goes over on the Sandman. January 12th, 2002. Chicano defeats Super Crazy for the IWA Hardcore title in Calle, Puerto Rico to end Crazy's 5th reign. Loco Crazy. Or as they used to call me behind the walls, Diablo Blanco. Let's stay in January 12th, 2002. Los Cubanitos, consisting of Ricky Reyes and Rocky Romero, win a tournament in Sherman Oaks, California to become the first and only Millennium Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. Why I say the first and only? Because the promotion closed in March of 2002. January 12th, 2004. The WWE at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale. Monday Night Raw. Lance Storm and Val Venus defeat Kevin Fertig and Travis Tomko. Garrison Cade and Mark Jindrak defeat Hurricane and Rosie when Cade pinned Rosie. Not Kane, Cade. Rico pins Tommy Dreamer. Rob Conway pins Spike Dudley. Scott Steiner pins Stevie Richards. The WWE Women's Champion Molly Holly and Jazz defeat Trish Stratus and Lita when Jazz pinned Trish. Goldberg pins Matt Hardy. Half of the WWE Tag Team Champions, Batista, pins Devon Dudley. Booker T defeats Kane by disqualification. Mark Henry pins Chris Jericho. And the WWE Intercontinental Champion Randy Orton pins RVD. The whole fucking show. I guess not that night. January 12th, 2007. As we fast forward here in the time machine. The Logan brothers, Brian and Matt Logan, defeat the champs, the Berlin Boys, and the Valedictorians to win the ECWA Tag Team titles in Newark, Delaware. January 12th, 2009. The WWE announces that the legendary Bill Watts would be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Definitely a worthy competitor, one legit badass, and certainly one of the best bookers and promoters in pro wrestling history, the legendary Bill Watts. We fast forward here in the time machine. January 12th, 2015. The WWE announces that two-time WWF champion, the Macho Man, Randy Savage, would be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. We go forward to go back and back to go forward. January 12th, 1968. The Dudley Boys, Big Dick Dudley, was born on this date in 1968. Now, Dudley passed in 2002 at the age of only 34. I had the opportunity to work with the Dudleys many times. And Big Dick Dudley in particular, along with Dances with Wolves Dudley, Bully Ray, obviously, and Devon. Big Dick passed in 2002 at only 34. So rest in peace and happy birthday to the family and friends of Big Dick Dudley on this date, 1968. Today, January 12th, WWE Women's Superstar Raquel Rodriguez turns 33. Happy birthday, Raquel. Let's go forward and go back. January 12th, 1979, the World Wrestling Federation at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. On that card, Bobby Duncombe beats World Wrestling Federation champion Bob Backlund by disqualification. Intercontinental champion Pat Patterson defeats Captain Lou Albano by disqualification. Hulk Hogan goes over on Tito Santana. Tito Santana, arriba! Ken Patera beats the Polish Power Ivan Putski. Larry Zbyszko and Hussein Arab, aka the Iron Sheik, wrestled to a time limit draw. How about that? January 12th, 2020. For historical notes, again, I'm certainly not for this. And I don't recognize it. I don't like it. It's not believable. It doesn't sell. It doesn't work for me, especially with physical comparisons between male and female, men and women, and all this garbage with the intergender, transgender, whatever. I'm not here to talk about any of that. You keep it to yourself. I keep it to myself. We all have our opinions, our amended rights, so on and so forth. Don't push it down my throat, and I'll do the same. But I'll say what the fuck I want on my channel. If you don't like it, change it. I'm all for the intergender when it's tag team matches and mixed tags and stuff like that, or in training men and women. I get it. It works. But not in the business. It's just not for me. But on this date, January 12th in 2020, Tessa Blanchard, that's right, you haven't heard that name in a while, Tessa Blanchard, Tully's daughter, makes history when she wins the Impact Heavyweight title from Sami Callihan. The first woman to win a men's title in a national promotion. Now, she was stripped in June of 2020, leaving Impact controversially, whatever went on between her and some of the other female grapplers. Who knows? Tessa's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world today, and I wish they would get past all this bullshit and bring her back to one of the major companies. But that's what happened on this date, January 12th, 2020, the one and only time that a woman won a man's title in a major promotion. And again, I'm all against this. I'm not for men versus women when it comes to any sport. I'm just not. Women's rights, domestic violence, domestic abuse, all this stuff that we fought for years. And now even with the trans going into men's and women's sports, it just doesn't work. It's not right. It's not fair. Make your own category. You're either born a man or a woman. That's scientifically, that's spiritually, that's how it is. And you can't dispute that. So I'm just here to give my 2 cents on that. And again, Tessa Blanchard, well qualified. Stay in the women's division. That's my pet peeve when it comes to the world of pro wrestling. So we're just about a little over 35 minutes here. I think I got everything in that I wanted to relay to you guys. And again, let me get off the character a little bit, because you know this is part me, part gimmick, part character, part kayfabe, part reality. I bring you into my home, into my TV show, onto my channel, and I greatly appreciate you guys being here. All jokes and kidding aside, and kayfabe and the whole 9 yards. This is what I love. This is what I do. And I can't thank you guys enough for being here. I know I'm repeating myself, but that's what I do here on the channel. So again, stay tuned to the community page. Follow me on those social media platforms. I will keep you updated. We're always pushing out content. We are very consistent here on the channel. Sometimes I'll take a little bit of time off, but I always come back in full force and make up for it. So I'll say that to say this, because I tell it like it is. You can catch me moderating on other channels, on major podcast platforms with legendary podcasters, JD from Off the Script, along with his co-hosts, Andrew Baydala, a.k.a. Ticket Drew, and the Chi-Town Smart Heel Jesse. Also, my old buddy, the OG of the podcast world, the one and only, the Sit Down with Don Tony, who has reunited with KC, Kevin Castle. The Don Tony and Kevin Castle Show. Just those 2 podcasts right there, JD and Off the Script, and Don Tony, along with their co-hosts, whether it be Andrew Baydala, Chi-Town Smart Jesse, KC, Kevin Castle. Does it get much better than that in the IWC? Because I don't fucking think it does. You're talking about guys that know what they're doing, have valued opinions, to be respected in this business. Along with my friends over at the Wrestling Council, the big man, Comic Book Bob, and Hollywood, my boy Hollywood, and also their co-host, Here's Johnny. So don't miss the Wrestling Council as well. And of course, my friend Maurice, across the pond over at Cheap Heat Productions. Over 1 million views, Maurice, on Cheap Heat. It doesn't get much better than Cheap Heat Productions, who also carries the Mario Mancini Show. Also, don't forget, If you want to follow me on the baseball podcast, my boy Wardy, Tyler Ward, Wardy NYM, covering the New York Mets. You guys don't want to miss his channel on YouTube. Wardy is unbelievable. A young man at his age, perhaps one of the best New York sportscasts going in the city. Better than WFAN and that bum Sal Licata. So follow Wardy. And then there's my old friend, loyal, professional historian, the professor, Rick Del Santo, over at PWZ, WON Sports, the Sports Wire, Pro Wrestling Sports Wire. He does it all as a historian. And one heck of a play-by-play as well. So that's it, guys. That's where you can catch me when I'm not here. Don't you dare miss it. Come on back, man. You don't get entertainment like this anywhere else.